Nelson. Here. Lower.
Here.
Yates.
Here.
Smock.
Here.
Munson.
Here.
Wagner.
Here.
All right. Item 2 is public comments. We will have another public comment section when the regular board meeting occurs, so we only had one person sign up, so we'll have to wait for that one if that's all right. Okay. There's no board comments listed, but I would like to take the opportunity to tell Julie thank you for all your service and all the great things you brought to the board in your time as a board member. You know, some of the things that we do now as a board we didn't do before you were put on the board and went to all the ISB meetings and said, hey, we're not doing things that we should be doing. So,
I've got to brush up on my Robert's rules.
yeah. You're very instrumental in our committees being formed. Before you came on board, we just did it all as a whole board, and we didn't get a lot done very quickly, so appreciate all that you've done for us. So wish you the best of luck, and we'll see you at all the school stuff. So item 3.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, sure.
Before, I just wanted to have one comment, and I promise I won't take forever, but I wanted to say something before I go. So being a school board member is difficult, stressful, and sometimes even heartbreaking, but it's also wonderful when you're benefiting students. There's nothing better than seeing the accomplishments of Mercer County students, whether it be academically, musically, athletically, or in the community. When I first decided to run for school board in 2012, a former staff member who I didn't know at the time had reached out to me and said that they were praying for me and believed God wanted me to be on the board at this time. That confidence has been great motivation these last 12 years. Tonight, I'm thankful to have my family here. If you've never met my parents, Doug and Diane Hessman, you're really missing out. They're pretty awesome. Mom is the reason education is so important to all our family. Some people are born to teach elementary kids, and she's definitely one of those. She taught elementary all her life at Taylor Ridge, New Boston, and then Jefferson Elementary in Muscatine. To this day, she has former students come up to her and tell her how wonderful it was to have her for a teacher. Just last summer, she came to an Eliza softball game, got talking to one of the families there, and found out she had been the second grade teacher of this player's grandfather. But she was also our family's first teacher. She made sure education was #1 in our house growing up, and maybe that's why I wanted to be a teacher too since kindergarten. Now there's a history of serving on the school board in my dad's family. Dad served on the Westmore board when I was a kid, through a really rough time of consolidating the 3 Westmore elementaries into one, tiny, minuscule budgets, you think the budget's bad now, and student walkouts. There were a lot of angry phone calls about school issues at home, a lot of criticism of decisions, but he was the most steady, even-keeled, wise presence on the board. And yes, I am biased, but it's still true. It wasn't until I was an adult that I learned that my grandfather was the board president of the Eliza Consolidated Community School District. That was when they built the Eliza School. And then my great-grandfather was the board rep for Center School on the Eliza Township Board. Center School is the one-room schoolhouse near my home. Both my sisters are here too and became teachers as well. Jill taught English composition at Joliet Junior College and MCC, and Joy taught Spanish in Springfield and then Rockridge for 17 years. But now both have stepped out into a new teaching experience, teaching people about Jesus. I'm so proud of you and happy for both of you to have this opportunity. Finally, I'm thankful for my immediate family being here. My kids served as inspiration to always put students first in board's decisions. They have been patient with me being gone for a lot of school board events. And I want to thank my biggest cheerleader, Scott. He has had to listen to me go on about school-related things I was excited for and vent about things I wasn't. He has had to take on extra duty when I've been gone or busy with school events, as every board spouse knows. And he's a great sounding board, but the absolute best thing, he's always had my back, no matter what. So I want to thank you, say thank you to the community and schools of Mercer County for giving me this opportunity. It's been an honor to serve.
Thank you, Julie. second. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Nelson,
Yes.
Lower,
Yes.
Munson,
Yes.
Smock,
Yes.
Wagner,
Yes.
Yates,
Yes.
Palmer.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. Swearing in of the new board member, Zach Frick. You have your little.
I got it.
All right. We'll do the board member oath and conduct. So each board member, before taking his or her seat on the board, shall take the following oath of office. So we'll say it together if you want. That way if one of us screws up, nobody will notice. All right. I, Bill Smock, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully discharge the duty of office as member of the Board of Education for the Mercer County School District in accordance with the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and the laws of the State of Illinois to the best of my ability. I further swear that I shall respect the taxpayer interests by serving as a faithful protector of the school district's assets. I shall encourage and respect the free expression of opinion of my fellow board members and others who seek hearing before the board, while respecting the privacy of students and employees. I shall recognize that a board member has no legal authority as an individual, and that decisions can only be made by a majority of the board of a public board member. I shall abide by the majority decision of the board while retaining the right to seek changes in such decisions through ethical and constructive channels. As a part of the Board of Education, I shall accept the responsibility for my role in the equitable and quality education of every student in the school district. I shall foster with the board extensive participation in the community, formulate goals, define outcomes, and set course for the Mercer County School District. I shall assist in establishing structure and environment designed to ensure all students have the opportunity to attain their maximum potential through a sound organizational framework. I shall strive to ensure the continuous assessment of students' achievement and all conditions affecting the education of our children in compliance with state law. I shall serve as an education advocate on behalf of students in our community school or schools to advance the vision of the Mercer County School District, and I shall strive to work together with the district superintendent, the school district towards fulfilling the vision that the board has created, fostering excellence for every student in the areas of academic skill, acknowledgement, citizenship, and personal development. So, thank you very much. Have a seat. Thank you, Julie.
You guys are welcome to stay.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn, signed die. Palmer, is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Yates, second that. All right, so now on to the Board of Education reorganization. So, we will call the meeting to order at 6:39, and roll call, please.
Lower,
Here.
Munson,
Here.
Smock,
Here.
Frick,
Here.
Yates,
Here.
Palmer,
Here.
and Nelson.
Here.
All right, and now we will appoint a president pro tem and a secretary pro tem. I would move to make Mr. Forker the president pro tem and Leanne the secretary pro tem. Munson second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries.
With that, then we'll move into the election of officers to two-year term. Entertain nominations for president.
I nominate Bill Swan for president.
We have Bill Smock. Any other nominations? All right, we'll do a voice vote for Bill Smock for school board president. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. back in your hands.
So Vice President, I would entertain a motion for Vice President.
I nominate Don Yates.
Second.
All right. Any other motion or any other votes? Any discussion? Then I will voice vote. All those in favor of Don Yates as Vice President, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And entertain a motion for secretary. I would move to, I would like to nominate Jason Munson as board secretary. Sorry, I couldn't get that word out.
There's a lot of syllables.
Yeah. Ballmer seconds. Anyone else? All right. Any discussion? All those in favor of Jason Munson as board secretary, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right. Motion carries. In your board packet, there was the committee assignments based off of what folks had messaged me that they wanted. I tried to give everyone their pick. There may be my Google Drive. You got it up there. All right, so finance will be Zach Frick, Jason Munson, and Bill Smock. Building and grounds, Don Yates, Jake Lower, Lori Nelson. Negotiations, Don Yates, Zach Frick, Lori Nelson. Wellness, Jake Lower, Tab Ballmer, Bill Smock. Transportation, Jason Munson, Bill Smock, Tab Ballmer. Protocols, Lori Nelson, Don Yates, Jason Munson. And policy, Jake Lower, Tab Ballmer, and Zach Frick. And superintendent evaluation is the board of the whole. Thank you. Right. Anyone have any questions or concerns or objections to committee assignments? All right. Then we typically have Leanne do our
exceptions are June and September of each year, so that we put our budget and any amended budget on display for the required 30 days prior to final approval. And then in March of 2026, the third Wednesday falls on spring break, so we push that back a week to accommodate.
Any questions? Then, Smock made the motion and Ballmer seconded, so I would, if there's no further discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. And then, I would entertain a motion to adopt the existing policies and regulations of the school district and school board.
I'll make that motion.
All right, Munson, motion.
Second.
Yates, seconds. All those in, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Then I would entertain a motion to adjourn the reorganization part of the meeting. Signed aye.
I move to adjourn this portion of the meeting.
All right, Munson moves.
Second.
Ballmer seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. And now we will return to the regular Board of Education meeting, but we will need to do a new roll call, and we are at 6:47.
Yates,
Here.
Ballmer,
Here.
Lower,
Here.
Munson,
Here.
Nelson, Smock,
Here.
Frick.
Here.
All right. Now we're on to the public comments section of our meeting. I'll read off the little, our little blurb that we have about public comments. The Board of Education welcomes public comment during the public comment portion of the agenda. Those who wish to address the board shall state their name and limit their statement to 5 minutes. Comments are not restricted to items on the agenda. However, comments regarding specific student discipline cases are not allowed during open session. Generally, these types of comments should come to the board only after they've been referred to the teacher, principal, or administrator who's closest to the situation. If all other avenues for resolving these items have been exhausted and the issue has not yet been resolved, you may request to address the board, usually during closed session. In addition, please refrain from using derogatory comments about staff members at this time. Ashley, go.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I hope you all know that I appreciate the time and care that you give for our children and our schools. I am not here because I'm angry. I'm here because I care. I apologize that this is difficult for me. Know, though, that I am very concerned. I must add that just today, a board member suggested that Mike and I meet with Mr. Porter before speaking, and we are open to doing so. We attended the community forum for the referendum, and we truly appreciated how he handled what was at times a very contentious atmosphere. It was great. I had already decided to speak tonight because we felt this was the next step, so I'm here. Perception is that both the superintendent and the board are involved in hiring decisions. Perhaps that is inaccurate in this case, but we still believe you all carry the responsibility for ensuring safety for our kids. So I'm here, and I'm here asking you to reconsider the decision to hire the new Apollo nurse after Becky Hyatt's retired. I ask that instead, you post the job now and hire in time for the new nurse to train with Becky while school is in session. They, of course, would not start full-time until fall, but that is generally understood in most positions in a school setting, and would be understood upon hiring. I have a unique vantage point. I am a regular substitute teacher at Apollo, and I observe Becky's job in that way. Additionally, our 10-year-old son, Patrick, has multiple life-threatening food allergies. Let me be clear, Patrick has experienced anaphylaxis more than once, and yes, he has had to be injected at school and taken to the ER. We still do not know what caused the reaction, but Becky, because she knew how to recognize this reaction, was able to ensure he was treated promptly and he is okay at baseball practice. Without going into great detail, food reactions are tricky. Patrick often presents with multiple mild symptoms. We've been in more than one ER where the doctors and nurses think the reaction is not severe because his throat is not closing. In reality, it is when your whole body is having a reaction, and symptoms can present in any number of ways. Ultimately, if not treated promptly, our son's body could shut down and die. While we have the support of a wonderful staff at Apollo, I cannot overstate the importance of an adequately trained school nurse. The new nurse needs to be trained in assessment, in using Patrick's plan, and in overseeing that his plan is being followed to ensure safety. Other nursing backgrounds don't necessarily prepare you for these things, but hands-on training with Becky will prepare her as much as possible. Even if you hope Becky would return to train this new individual, she is retiring. It is not guaranteed she will do this. Further, being trained in an empty school is not the same as working with Becky on school days. Training is the crucial piece of ensuring that our son and others like him come home from school safely. In a crisis situation, there are no do-overs. Immediate action is needed. Death is final. Please understand it's not easy to say, and it's worse to think about it, but it's a fact of life for us. It's not just about Patrick. Roughly, there are 25 children with food allergies, 6 to 10 with asthma, and 3 who have seizures at Apollo. An additional 3 children with seizures come regularly from the junior high, and I know, not from Apollo, but I know that there's a child with diabetes coming in the fall. This does not include the kids who take medicine, or the many kids daily who need her for unexpected illness and injury. All of this in addition to the many other jobs daily. Our amazing nurse does many important things, and she's the only one to do them. I cannot imagine walking into that position without hands-on training, let alone the training needed to handle anaphylaxis, seizures, and so much more. This job can be overwhelming. The idea of an untrained overall nurse should concern all of us. Schools, the administration, and the board are held to a high standard when it comes to keeping kids safe. I'm so thankful for the increased safety at our schools in recent years, and I fully supported the referendum and all the safety that was going to come with it. However, the nurse's role in safety is equally important. She has contact with every child at school. An estimated 1 in 14 students suffer an injury at school each year, nationwide. For our child and others like him, he is not safe if our new nurse is not fully trained before day 1 of school. Please understand, parents are counting on you to keep all of our kids safe. I don't know with whom the decision ultimately lies, but I believe you can all influence this matter. I know everyone is in this room because they care about kids. I understand you have reasons you have waited to hire. I am asking you kindly, but emphatically, to now reconsider. Hiring now so a nurse can train with Becky has no downsides and no risks. Please think about my child and the 40 other children with major issues at Apollo who need the best nurse possible. Think about what could happen if the new nurse is not fully trained properly. Think about your own children and how you would want them protected. We have great faith in all of you, and we hope you will make the right decision. Thank you.
Thank you. No one else signed up. So, number 3, board comments. Are there any board comments? I have one. And I know some of the principals touched on this in their admin reports, but I wanted to congratulate the students as well that were recognized for the Illinois Principals Association's Leadership Award. Savannah Wilkins, Troy Davis, Lexa Lane, Clay Kester, Keegan Benson, Zach Hoftender, and then also our junior high principal being honored as the junior high principal of the year is Tim Seedam. So I wanted to make sure everybody here recognized the good things we have going on. So we appreciate that. Congratulations. Any other comments? Otherwise, we did have 2 correspondents going around. I don't know if they got over there. They were agenda.
Hey, Bill, could I say something?
Uh,
I'm not on the list, I'm not on the list.
typically we don't unless you sign up, but is it long?
Nope,
Okay.
I'll sign if you want me to.
Why don't we have you put your name down? We'll just do that real quick. That way we got record of,
Want my address and everything?
yeah, good.
Okay, I don't have nothing written down, so it shouldn't be long.
First time talking to a school board meeting?
Huh?
First time talking to a school
Yes.
board meeting?
First time talking at a school board meeting, that's right. First time ever, I think, being at a school board meeting. But I have a question, and it's about my wife. Her foot, they had surgery on her foot, her Achilles tendon, had bone spur removed, and she's in a boot, she's working in a boot. And they sent her to Boston to take, I think, Teresa Shell's place. And that's fine, I mean, I don't work here, so I don't make the rules, but anyhow, she come home last night, and where they had done surgery on her heel, she took her sock off and it was bleeding through. And if she could stay up here at the junior high and do light duty, she could sit on the chair, wash off trays, and, you know, she can sit down every now and then. But down there, she's in charge and she's on her foot all day long. And, I don't think that's right. And I got a question for you four guys right there. What would you do if it was your wife?
So, I gotta stop you. So typically for public comments, we don't back and forth, we don't, because we don't want, no.
Okay,
So,
okay.
but what I'm gonna suggest is that you either call me or call Mr. Forker tomorrow morning, and we can kinda go through everything. I'm not fully, brought up to speed on the situation, and I don't think anybody else probably is, Mr. Forker, I'm sure is, but, it's probably in an open session, we try not to get into staff and
Okay.
just for lots of different reasons, but
That's
but
why
I,
I've never been to school.
yeah, that's okay, it's okay. I didn't know what you were gonna, come to talk to us about, but we just don't wanna talk about staff issues in an open, but,
Give me yourself.
yeah.
Are you open first thing, do you have time to swing by the Joy office first thing in the morning? Like, say 8, 7:30?
Yeah, I got a doctor's appointment at 9 o'clock in Toledo, but yeah, I can swing by.
Which would you prefer, 7:30 or 8?
7:30.
Okay. And we're right there at the old vocational center, here in Western High School.
Okay.
There's my number. I think your wife probably has it.
I would have.
All
All right,
those
thank you
sophomore
very
years.
much.
Thank you, Danny. All right, so we will move on to the consent agenda. Is there anyone that would like anything pulled from the consent agenda? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
To approve.
Lower moves to approve. Yates seconds. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Munson,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Smock,
Yes.
Frick,
Yes.
Yates,
Yes.
Palmer,
Yes.
Lower.
Yes.
All right. Motion carries 7-0. Committee reports. The finance committee report is, it was in the packet.
And I'll roll off the slide deck if you're okay with that. I always like to start with district goals. Our 5 buckets, student academic growth and achievement. Our 2 goals to continue to strengthen K through 8 DLA/literacy and math curriculum instructional approach, and to continue to modernize our curriculum approach. In programs and services, to continue to strengthen social emotional student supports and increase targeted pathway-based course opportunities. In district and community relations, to strengthen community involvement in schools and continue to solidify and expand positive branding. Under facilities and accessibility, our goals are to develop and implement long-term capital improvement plan and solidify security, safety, and district crisis management. And in finance, our goals are to develop and implement a long-term budget and levy projections and plans and increase operational efficiencies, keeping the student needs first. As far as FOIA requests, we got hit with a bunch of them recently. You can see the array of items that folks have requested. To get all the information out as requested. Under academic and improvement planning, I'd like to turn things over to Ms. Cooper if I could to talk about a few things that we have got going on at high school.
Yeah. So, Ryan, what do you want me to talk about first? Just scheduling in general, right? How we're Yep. So we're in the process of working on scheduling. I say we, like I have a lot to do with it, but right now it's mainly Ms. Haynes who's working on scheduling. So all of our students have registered, sheets are turned in. We're working on creating the master schedule, working on getting our special education students scheduled first to make sure that they get all of their needs met, and then we start with seniors and then move back from there. So that's going well. I think you said you just finished juniors, right? Or
About 5 juniors left. So seniors are done, juniors have about 5 left.
Yep. It's always our goal to get a first schedule in the students' hands before summer. So, yeah. And we're excited that we'll be able to offer all of same classes we've offered before. So we still have a wide variety of dual credit enrollment opportunities, AP enrollment opportunities, lots of electives. You know, we have a wonderful course handbook for a school district our size. So it's excellent.
As far as spring assessment goes, ACT and pre-ACT are complete.
Yep.
IAR complete. Do we still have some makeups somewhere with IAR?
We still have another day on the timeline, but our building's done. I'm guessing everybody's pretty much wrapped up.
Yep.
Not,
Illinois
we got
Sci-
tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah. Illinois Science Assessment is in motion, and we have College Board AP exams coming up. We haven't taken any AP exams yet.
No, they're the first 2 weeks of May.
So, knock on wood, all of that work will be complete when we meet again in May. IT pathway update. Ms. Cooper, you want to talk a little bit about your guys' work with Blackhawk?
Sure. So we've been in a lot more discussions with Blackhawk, trying to ensure that we can offer lots of different opportunities for students, whether that be like in IT. I think we're focused on IT here, but in other aspects as well. But Blackhawk does have 3 different options: a Network Plus, and what's the other one called? A Plus. Yep. So programs that are preparatory work for those certification exams. What are they called again, Mr. Lure?
CompTIA.
CompTIA, thank you, for the CompTIA exams. And it's also college credit that they can earn toward, different IT routes that they want to go. So we actually sent out a survey to all of our student, sophomores and juniors, I believe, of students who are maybe interested in IT fields after high school, and then had some meetings with those students to talk to them about the different opportunities that are available to them, whether it be Blackhawk, and then we've got one coming up once we get somebody from DeVry that can help us with DeVry as well. I'm just explaining all those options to students. So we're anxious to see how many students we can get enrolled in some of those IT courses for next year.
With DeVry, the ball is in their court. We have a signed agreement with them. They're working with the Illinois Board of Higher Education to make sure everything is in place and proper accreditation can be given to the courses. Once we get that done, we'll get our kids in touch with the DeVry folks and have them sit down and walk through the opportunities there. As far as math curriculum and instruction update, Ms. Cooper, you want to talk a little bit about the math course progression?
Yep, so we've been doing a lot of work with Mr. Sedan as well, with the junior high and high school. We know our math scores are something that as a district we need to improve, or we really need to focus on. So we've been looking at, particularly at the high school level, that progression that students go through and how how many students we can try to get through algebra, at least through Algebra 2. So they're, in the state of Illinois, one of the new college career readiness indicators, well, not new, they're a couple years old, but they're starting to be a part of our report card data starting this year, but is how many students get through Algebra 2 content. So really trying to encourage students to get to that point. So right now we do have students that start high school in pre-algebra, then they'll take algebra and then take geometry, and we require 3 years of credit, so then they're not making it to that Algebra 2. So we've started discussions with the junior high of aligning and making sure that we're in alignment with our standards and benchmarks that we're hitting to try and get more 8th grade students ready for algebra, pre-algebra and algebra, so we can have our high school students starting at least at Algebra 1. Because if our high school students can start at least at Algebra 1, then they'll hit that Algebra 2 benchmark. So actually next year, the plan is to reduce the number of sections of pre-algebra that we're offering by half, and then the following year in hopes to not have any pre-algebra offered at the high school, and getting our kids ready for that. So, and that's looking doable. You know, we're looking at lots of metrics with our incoming freshmen, current test scores, current grades, multiple different test scores, IAR, MAP, current grades, and talking with some of our high school math teachers of kind of the preparedness of students who've come in the past, and now with our advisory time at the high school, we have a lot more opportunity to offer interventions for students as well to help them, even if they're maybe not quite ready, but we can put them there and then give them the interventions they need to help them be successful.
In conjunction with that work, we're going to start digging into our curriculum, K-12 on the math side. We're working to assemble 3 to 5 member teams at each building that'll do that work throughout the course of the next school year. That work will correspond with, ISB is working to put together a numeracy plan that should be released next spring around this time, which is pretty similar to the literacy plan work that they did last year.
Do you have questions?
I do, if you have just a second, as a percentage of our graduating
Yep.
classes, where are we at in relation to the Algebra 2 grad right now? Do you have
I
an
should have
idea?
looked at that, and I don't have that
Okay,
information.
I'm just curious if
Yeah.
it's.
Probably
if
like 30%, 40% maybe.
30%, okay.
Data
Not
that
great.
we do have.
Right.
Yeah.
We did assemble some data to try and Ms. Dornan assembled this data for us, trying to find similar schools nearby with similar demographics, and analyzing 8th graders, the rate at which 8th graders are passing Algebra 1, 9th grade on track, IAR meets and exceeds, and I believe this is for junior highs
You
only.
lost your connection.
Shake your mouse.
Is that the tip?
Yes, Ms. Jordan actually was going to be here to talk about this. She went home sick today. But the information that she compiled that'll hopefully be up in a second is the 8th grade information, so junior high information. And she took all of the schools in our current conference.
That's what it looks like. The Chromecast is updating.
Oh, no,
Anyway, the
you're
moral
good.
of the story is,
You're almost there.
the moral of the story is we know that we have room for improvement with regards to math skills.
Looks like the data though for our 8th graders, we're kind of right there with everybody else. Is that correct? Because it's 26%, I mean, there's 153%, but everybody else is kind of in that.
Maybe with everything except for IAR meets and exceeds.
Oh, okay.
You know, our IAR meets and exceeds is, you know, significantly lower than some.
What was that? IAR math meets and
Yeah.
exceeds, is that 8th grade?
It's 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Oh, okay.
It's a 6 on 7.
That's
And-
only 8th grade.
That's just 8th grade?
That's only 8th grade last year.
Okay.
Yep.
No, that's all junior
No.
high. Yeah.
26% is 8th grade. Is that, or no, that's different, that's not
That's
an
different,
IAR. Okay.
Those are kids enrolled in Algebra 1. So like in 4 or 5 years ago, we did not even have Algebra 1
Right.
at the junior high. That was added. And
Yeah.
we're roughly, like you said, 26% of our population gets through advanced math. Advanced math doesn't even start until 6th grade, really. But yeah, that's the 8th grade last year.
So we know we have work to do across the board in that, and that's what we're targeting. So that's academic improvement planning. ESSER 3 funds update. So we have, as of July 1st, we had money remaining in ESSER 3. The way ESSER was designed originally, institutions were March to spend their money by September 30th, 2025. And you could extend that and have a liquidation extension that, I think lasts the entire 2025 calendar year. I'm not sure exactly what the deadline is, but I know we could apply for a liquidation extension at least through the summer. So that's what we targeted. $240,000 worth of projects. Now, in order for us to get that liquidation extension, ISB and the federal government mandated that we had sales orders in place. We got 2 sales orders in place, one with Northwest Mechanical for $100,000 and one with Willio for $140,000. Northwest Mechanical was for a portion of the HVAC project at the Votech Center at the high school, and the Willio portion is for playground equipment down in Boston.
Because none of that we would have. That's all we want.
We were notified, it's been within the last 2 weeks, there was an announcement made by the U.S. Department of Education, followed up by a letter to school districts that were involved from ISB, that the U.S. Department of Education is revoking their granted extension, and according to the U.S. Department of Education, no longer giving us access to promised funds. We have contracts in place. We intend to honor those contracts and move forward. We are part now of Illinois is part of a multi-state lawsuit to try and release those funds as promised. So to be continued. How that impacts us is, for us, if we do those projects without ESSER money, it'll come out of O&M. ESSER money, all the ESSER money here has been targeted in the Ed Fund. So even though those were going to be capital expenses, we were using the Ed Fund to flow the money through.
Because those funds cannot be used for salaries or.
Correct.
They have to go through the Ed Fund.
Correct. Yeah, we had to have sales contracts that could extend any type of salaries, which was the first thing that we attempted to do, was to extend this money into summer school, like has been happening at least for the last couple of years with ESSER funds. So we'll see where the lawsuit goes. If those funds get released to us as promised, then we can do a little bit more summer work, at our various sites. If not, we'll have to be a little bit more conservative. With that in mind, the capital improvement plan update, 2025 summer project plans. None of this has changed. The only thing, I'll go ahead and walk through it. So at the ELC, we've got some downsizing of the HVAC and domestic water plan. We've got that contract in place. At Apollo, we've got security in place, contract in place, kitchen contract in place. Concrete I have highlighted because that would be the item that I would put pause on if this money doesn't come through. Exterior lighting and landscaping still playing for Apollo. New Boston, we've got building demo, pre-K classroom finishing, parking lot playground, and the New Boston PTO has been helping a lot and instrumental in the design of that playground and doing some additional fundraising and fund gathering in order to get the best that we can with the money that we have available. At the junior high security, that contract is in place in conjunction with Apollo. Again, concrete would be something that we would put on hold. It's just a little bit that we would do while guys were here working on Apollo. Exterior lighting, landscaping will continue to move forward and probably shelve the potential tweaking of HVAC controls, because we know that's been an issue for years and years. And then at the high school, we're moving forward with vocational HVAC. We're going to replace the lighting in both shops while we're doing that. While we have lifts here and electricians running wire and duct work being done, we'll knock all that out at the same time. So those are our summer projects. I'll elaborate a little bit on the capital improvement plan at the Apollo kitchen. So if you remember, these are walk-in cooler and storage upgrades. Continue working on that exterior door, which we feel like we have in a good place right now. Look at the range as far as being replaced and potentially repositioned, whatever is the most beneficial for the kitchen space. far as a district design team update, just a quick pic, before and after pic of the casework in the high school art room. So really, would like to thank the district design team for helping us coordinate this project so that we've got design that's fluid from one building to the next. Those cabinets, the casework themselves, the design is exactly what was installed at New Boston. The countertop is a slight variation just because they didn't have the exact model available in time to install. Another thing the district design team was working to do, we have shingles that need replaced, the roof needs replaced at our little storage garage between this campus and Apollo. Planning on doing that with a metal roof. We've got two other metal roofs on this campus. One is a blue, one is a like bronze-ish, goldish. So just looking at what is the best color of metal to install that roof, and from the design team, we set it on bright white. So that is what we're going to put on that garage. We'll do that work in-house. Moving down to referendum information sharing. So this slide just contains the vote as far as yes, no, or people that did not vote that cast a ballot in the various townships of our school district. The blue and the gold swaths directly correspond with the townships in those areas. So if you look in the middle, the blue, that represents all Mercer townships, and Perrington Township and Ohio Grove. Those are all the townships where the yes votes outnumber the no votes. If you go, if you're looking at the screen to your right, or to the east of Aledo, we have a few votes that were cast out from residents in our district boundaries. And you can see how they voted yes, no, or didn't vote at all. When you head to the townships west of Aledo, there you see, and you can see them listed in the table, or you can see them, all that vote aggregated out to the left. We had 26% of folks vote in favor of the referendum in those townships. So that's kind of the breakdown. When all the smoke cleared, it was about 46.8% of the folks voted in favor, around 53% of folks voted against. Community engagement and district goal setting. So what I intend to do is collect staff and community feedback via Google Form and work to put us in position to adopt FY26 district goals in July. Entertain feedback, from anyone informally. Feel free to shoot me a text, a call, or an email. If there's an item that you would like to be a part of the Google Form, for the most part, what my plan is to take the goals that we currently have and have an opportunity for anybody filling out the form to add something that's not on there, but then also to kind of rank the goals in order of importance as we currently have them listed. So there will be opportunity for open text input to exchange new ideas or ideas for new goals, and then an opportunity to kind of rank order of importance. We take into consideration how we spend our money and time. Okay, the last thing on my discussion list, community eligibility provision. This is part of the school lunch, federal school lunch program. I bring this up, we are in, I believe it's year 2, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, it's basically free breakfast, free lunch for all. And that's the CEP program. So we qualify for that through this community eligibility provision. It's a USDA approved alternative to collecting, approving, and verifying eligibility for free and reduced lunch. We are a part of that district-wide, so all buildings are under that provision. The benefits that they market for this program, for students, everybody gets breakfast and lunch offered daily. There are no reimbursable meal charges. It ensures that they're ready to learn, and there's no differentiation, right? Everybody goes through the line in the same way. For parents, they don't have to file paperwork in order to qualify for free and reduced lunches. And there's no cash payments for these meals like takes place in a lot of locations. As far as the school goes, it just streamlines, all of the paperwork that is associated with the school lunch program. I'm mentioning this because all indications are the U.S. Department of Education may be looking to change this program or eliminate this program. So we just need to be ready to have a discussion on what we want to do locally should this program no longer be funded. Okay? By May, ideally, knock on wood, we'll have more information by May if we have to take any course of action or anything next fall.
Is that separate from, like, before we got into that program, there was a certain level where people were below that level, they qualified for free and reduced lunch? Is that a separate program, or is it kind of all, like, if we
It's
were to
separate
lose
but
this, would
similar.
we still have that?
Yes.
Okay.
All indications are that the U.S. Department of Education would be interested in ending this program, but maintaining some form of free and reduced lunch. So, be continued on that. The tricky part is that does go back to parents have to certify.
Right, they gotta fill the
They've got to
paperwork.
fill out the paperwork, they've got to provide income verification. So that's all I have for information discussion on this.
Okay. Anyone have any questions about any of that, or discussion? Moving on to eight, the action items, 8.1, Mercer County High School vocational HVAC agreement.
Drawings and specs are in your folder. It's broken out by space. So you can kind of see what the contract that we've been engaged with, and then the drawings and specs that they've released. Just looking for formal approval of those drawings and specs, knowing that electrical, roofing, and structural engineering will come at additional cost as needed. Something to note, there was a different design for this project that we pivoted from. In the original design, the estimated cost was $514,000. So this comes at a considerable savings. And just a refresher that this is the project that the district applied for last year and got $50,000 in school maintenance grant money to help fund.
So is this outside of the ESSER money?
We get $50,000 we've already received for this project.
Okay.
And ideally, we'll receive $100,000 in federal money for this project.
Okay.
And then that would leave us, probably, it would leave us, less than 10 grand for this part, and then any of the electrical, roofing, and structural engineering would be on it.
So I'm totaling these, sales orders up to $156,242, is that right?
I got 104, you're right.
Yeah, that's 156,242. So our motion should be for, the 156,242, and how should we word that for the additional electrical, roofing, and structural engineering?
I would ask for it as presented.
Okay, that's fine. All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept CHS location or HVAC agreement as presented.
All right, Ballmer moves. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Munson seconds. Is there discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Nelson. Smock.
Yes.
Brick.
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Ballmer.
Yes.
mandated within a couple years, but to have verified through the state college career pathway, gosh, I'm having a brain fart. Endorsement, thank you, you just said it, and then my brain completely shut down. And we applied with the state to go ahead and have our first one approved for next school year. The area that we were going to have that in is where one of our new teachers will be next year. So we decided to opt out for next school year, do it the following school year, give that new teacher a chance to get a little bit of her feet underneath her before she has to do a bunch of paperwork to the state about what she's doing in her class. So this is not a state requirement by next school year, not a big deal at all. The state just, once you've said, hey, we're gonna do it for this school year, in order to then go back and opt out, it has to appear on a board agenda, board has to be discussed, and then we have to submit that information, the board agenda, and the notes and everything for that. So our plan is 100% to have it. We actually would love to have 2 or 3 of them in the future approved by the state, but that work will still start next year. Just because we're opting out doesn't mean we can't actually do it. We'll start the work on it, but then hopefully officially do it the following school year. So.
Do I have a motion to approve the IASB College and Career Pathway Endorsement opt-out for 2025-2026?
I'll move.
That's Munson. Is there a second?
Second.
Nelson. Any discussion? All right. It's not money related, so voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Administrative reports.
I'll start with the district. Some of you might have noticed we do have, there's some internet work, some fiber being laid around town. Hats off to Jeff Long and his team and Mr. Petrie, lining up the opportunity for us. We're getting fiber to New Boston. It's not the way that we wanted. We tried to get that BEAD funding in conjunction with Viola Fiber so that we could help get fiber through Joy down to New Boston that would cover our households as well. This fiber is going through Joy to New Boston, but it's a closed circuit for us only. So this will mean all of our buildings will be connected on one fiber network, and all the work is being funded and done through the state of Illinois. So again, thanks to Mr. Petrie and Jeff Long and his crew for working to get that lined up. I'm hopeful that in the back end, we can still figure out a way, if not this year, down the road, for Viola Fiber to be the internet provider. Because the one part that there are 2 parts I don't like about this that are less ideal than if we got fiber to New Boston. A, it doesn't affect any of our homes, so we don't have low cost, high speed internet to our students' homes, which we want. And then B, the back end of this internet right now is being provided by a company that's not local. So I would much prefer the back end to be provided by a local company like Viola Fiber, so that the money can support additional builds in Mercer County. So we'll work to get there. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. So that's the district update. Still there she is. Anything from ELC?
Something I didn't have on my admin report is the ROE had some grant money, so we're gonna be adding some technology to our preschool. It's called Imagination Station. It's kind of like low-tech virtual reality, so we'll have it once we get the big box undone and get everything put together. So, and today we went on our field trip to Discovery Depot, so that was a good day.
Mr. Robertson is out today, so is Dr. Eichmann still here? No, I looked at you.
We've had some people coming into the building, and he came today, but I didn't see you reading to the 2nd graders. We had ballet quad cities come in. I know Paula had them also. Our students were enthralled. I mean, you could hear a pin drop. They watched 30 minutes of ballet, and all of our students were in there watching. It was wonderful. I wish we could get them in there a bit more often. And then we've got a lot of field trips coming up to the zoo, to the Orpheum, and students are really excited about that. And you mentioned our IPA, Troy Davis and Savannah Wilkins for 5th grade, recognized by the Blackhawk IPA. And I want to say it was actually a pretty, it was a pretty difficult decision. They took some time to think about it because we have some really great students, especially in the 5th grade this year, 4th graders coming out, It is not easy to go, oh yeah, I know those two. I mean, we really have to think about it. I want to brag on our students. They are just doing a really good job. They're really focusing. And I say this, and I don't know tomorrow will bring now that I'm saying it, but they've been doing so wonderfully. So I just want to take a second to brag on them.
Mr. Sedan?
Kind of stole the thunder. I was just going to say the idea of finishing state testing is always a big time to have that done. And, keep us in your thoughts as we're entering field trip season. It's a go.
Any other stuff from the high school?
All of our sports teams, athletic teams, and our music groups, and all do a wonderful job. But some things to highlight recently: our band and choir got all Division I and II ratings at organizational contests. Our softball team is undefeated. I don't know what the score is at the moment, but that's the last I knew. Right? They were undefeated to start the season, and they beat Rockridge, which, from what I understand, is the first time since like the 80s that we beat Rockridge, which is awesome. So great start to the season there. I told Mr. Murray, in spite of their coach, they're doing a wonderful job. No, not at all. He's doing an awesome job. And we are just 3 full weeks away from the last week for seniors. So end of the year is coming quick. So we're in full swing, end of the year activities, graduation, getting ready, but good stuff.
Can I add one more thing? Tomorrow, what time is it at? At about 12:15-ish. We're gathering together, and about 20 of our teachers are going to get a whipped cream pie in their face. So if anybody wants to come on down, take a watch. Students during their testing have to earn tickets, and they're going to get their ticket drawn out of a bucket of a teacher that they chose to throw a pie at. Yep. So you're welcome to come. About 12:15-ish.
That's great.
Oh, he doesn't know because they got to pull the ticket.
I asked him if that's what you're doing.
It's like
No. Somehow I missed the bucket. I thought I was doing it.
They didn't
I'm
make
not
it.
going to insist.
I know it's sad. I really want to.
All right, well, that brings us to closed session. So we have a few items on the personnel report. So we will, I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session.
Go into closed session.
Yates, is there a second?